you're thinking about getting started in short-term rentals and Airbnb in the near future, then you must watch this video before getting started. The reason is there's a ton of people that bought a property or rented a property in prime location, and they're great properties, but they're just not getting booked and they are not making any money. And in this video, I'm going to disclose the top 5 things that you can do to your property, regardless of what market it's in order to increase the likelihood that you're going to appear higher on Airbnb search, which is going to get you more clicks on your listing, more bookings at a premium rate. It's going to boost your occupancy rate and get more 5-star reviews, which ultimately is going to make you appear higher in search and repeat that same cycle. So buckle up, because we're about to dive into the top 5 things that you can add today. For those that are new to my channel, my name's Michael Elefante. I own 8 short-term rental properties that do well over $1 million per year on sites like Airbnb and Vrbo. I also own a design company. We design around 150 to 200 properties per year, all short-term rentals. And I own a property management company, and we manage over 300 properties across the United States, and we're the fastest growing PM in the industry. I tell you all that to know that I've seen hundreds or even thousands of properties across the United States, and I know exactly what amenities or things to add to your listing that have the greatest impact. Getting right started, number 1, and this may seem obvious to a lot of you out there, is a hot tub. Do not skimp over this. You can add a hot tub in almost any market, and it's guaranteed that you're going to appear higher on search, because people like to use filters and book properties with things they do not get to experience every day at home. And for the vast majority of people around the world, they don't have a hot tub sitting in their backyard. So when they go on vacation, whether it's to a city like Nashville, or to the mountains like Gatlinburg, Tennessee, or to the beach down in 30A of Florida, they want a hot tub to sit in at the end of the day. This is an amenity that is not necessarily cheap, but it's also not going to break the bank. The ROI for a hot tub is substantial. So depending on your market, I would highly consider adding a hot tub. Number 2 is a very budget-friendly way to immediately improve the aesthetic of your listing, get it clicked on more, and get it booked. And that is adding a fire pit of some kind. And then the cherry on top is adding string lights or uplighting on the trees around the fire pit, depending on the setting. The reason this is such a great amenity is because if you take great photos, especially in like twilight, meaning it's sunset, with the fire pit lit, with the string lights on, maybe you set out some s'mores or some beers on the table or something nearby the chairs around the fire pit, you're setting a mood and you're basically setting the stage for an experience that's immersive, that somebody can see themselves jumping through the photo and just being there sitting around the fire with friends or family, having a great time at the end of the day. Photos are just as critical as the actual amenity here itself. Because if you take a photo of a fire pit in broad daylight and the fire pit's not lit, there's nothing staged around the chairs or the tables, then it's just gonna look kind of bland, right? The setting's gonna look bland and it's not gonna really get me excited about it. You guys have all seen those magazine or Pinterest-worthy photos where the fire pit is lit up, it's a perfect sunset, the string lights are kind of just glowing just bright enough, and you just wanna jump through and just sit on that chair and just be sitting right there in that moment. So it's important to have these types of features. One, it won't break the bank. A fire pit can be as little as a few $100, chairs, few $100, string lights, $100 or $200 from Costco or Amazon or Walmart. You set it up, and this is going to be in your top 5 photos, right? That's really critical because when someone clicks on your listing, they have 5 photos, your title, and your description to look at. You have to draw them in enough to click to learn more about it, view more photos. So you want to have that in the back of your mind when you're setting up your listing. So do not skimp on this. A fire pit you can put at almost any property in the country, of course, unless it's a condo or an apartment or something like that. Number 3 is not necessarily an amenity, but this is an absolute cheat code to making your listing pop and getting more clicks and more bookings. And it helps with free marketing for your property. And that is lighted signs, murals, and accent walls. Lighted signs you can get from customneon.com, I think is one of the websites that a lot of people use. You can create any type of neon sign you want. So what I like to do in a market like Nashville, Tennessee, is create custom neon sign that says something like "Let's go girls" or "Cowgirls," something to do with music. And you can have the lighted sign above a table or above a seat or in front of maybe a mural. And you create a photo moment for people. Same thing with murals. If you're gonna do a mural, I would do something interactive. This is one of the best investments we ever made. We spent like $2 or $3 grand on a butterfly wing mural in Nashville. And we get a lot of bachelorette groups that are willing to pay more for our property because it has this photo moment. People will book a place for the experience and to capture that memory for the rest of their life. And it's free marketing for you, because what are they gonna do? If they take an awesome picture in front of a lighted sign or a mural, they're going to post it on their Instagram and hopefully tag your property. Regardless, it's free marketing for you, and you have to put zero effort into it other than just setting the property up that way. The last thing I mentioned was accent walls. This is a great way to make your photos pop. Now remember, when you're designing a property, design is critical, just as critical as amenities are. You have to design with the consumer in mind. You're not setting this property up as you would for your own home. So avoid the tans, the whites, and the grays, right? You need your photos to pop online. So accent walls are a great way to make bedrooms, right? You can put behind the headboard, you can put wallpaper, different paint colors, something that makes each photo pop and a little bit juicier, right? Because if you're scrolling through hundreds of properties or thousands of properties to book a family vacation and you're going through photos, one that doesn't have any accent walls versus one that does, which one do you think is going to draw that guest in and make them more excited to book that place? Remember, you want to sell on the experience, not solely on price. That is how you book at premium rates and make more money than the competition. Here's a little pro tip. If you have a mural or a lighted sign or a special moment you know people are gonna take photos in front of, create a little hashtag and hide it basically in the photo frame, right? So when someone takes that photo, whether they even tag you or not, whoever is viewing that person's photo is going to see that little hashtag and they may search for it and find your property, and you're gonna get some bookings with $0 spent in marketing. Design is the hardest aspect of setting up a really good short-term rental. If you need help with design or wanna outsource it, I highly recommend working with Somerled Designs. I'll drop a link to their website in the description of this video. Moving on to point number 4 is a home gym. I used to sleep on this one because I'm like, who's gonna work out on their vacations? But guys, don't sleep on a home gym because it's gonna do 2 things for you. One, a lot of mom and dads like to get exercise while on a vacation, whether it's a 3-day vacation or a week-long vacation, regardless if it's an urban market or a rural market. They don't like to skip out on their routines. So they're willing to pay a little bit more for a place that offers a home gym, maybe some free weights, a treadmill, a Peloton, add all the necessary equipment so they don't have to book another place or go pay for a 1-day gym pass, which can be anywhere from $10, $30, or $50, depending on the gym. So you can provide that amenity and people are willing to pay for it. Secondly, especially in urban markets, guys, this is so critical. If you want to try and scoop up that midweek traveler who may just be passing through or maybe coming for business, a lot of people want to get exercise in and they don't want to leave the property. So if you want somebody to find your listing, if they're searching for that specific amenity on Airbnb, you need to check that box. Even if it's something as simple as a treadmill or a Peloton bike. By having this amenity, you're going to get found more often, appear higher in search, and you're going to fill up dates, increasing your occupancy more so than if you did not have this specific amenity. I started adding this to most of my properties last year, and our properties are taking off. It even has people mentioning in the reviews that they love the gym equipment. And we have people specifically reach out asking us questions about the gym equipment, and they specifically booked our property because it had it, right? So you will make more money by having this amenity, and it also won't break the bank. Having this amenity is also going to help you not just compete with other short-term rental properties, but it'll help you compete with big hotels. Because what's one thing that keeps people going to big hotels other than the group size, right? Because we all know if it's a 1 or 2 person traveler, they may go to a hotel versus a small Airbnb. However, most people go to a hotel because they have big amenities that are shared, right? They have a nice home, they have a nice gym in the hotel. They may have a common area, maybe a bar or a lounge. They have a pool. So if you can provide amenities to compete with this, people can now book your place. They're probably going to want to because they don't want to share gym equipment with other people or go to the gym at 7 in the morning and have to wait on a treadmill. They have their own private gym space in your Airbnb and they're willing to pay more for it, I promise. Number 5, and this one for those that have waited, I promise you it's worth it. And this is called the X Factor amenity. Now, this is going to be very different depending on which market you're investing in. Okay, so when I'm evaluating properties or my students are evaluating properties within certain markets, what we do is create what I call a buy box. So you have to create a buy box, and this is not just things like what zip code, what neighborhood to invest in, what size property and all that, but what we do is create 2 lists. List number 1 is we're looking at all of the must-have amenities. These are things that we, for example, like Gatlinburg, you're probably gonna look at all the top comps and you're gonna see everyone has a hot tub, everyone has a pool table and a game room, everyone has a fire pit, blah, blah, blah. Now, what X factor amenity or amenities can you add in order to not only compete with those top properties, but get booked at a premium rate compared to them? You have to offer something that very few, if anybody else in that market has. And this is how you become the top 1% in a market. So some of these X factor amenities that I've personally added over the past couple of years that makes us able to dominate markets are things like a pickleball court. Very few people have this. A putt-putt course, a basketball hoop, a sauna, an ice plunge. Whatever it may be, do some market research, and it's gonna vary depending on the type of property you have. Maybe you need a bunch of outdoor space, but again, that comes back to the buy box criteria. You should know these things ahead of time. But if you can add 1 or 2 or 3 max X factor amenities that very few, if anybody else has in your market, you are going to get booked at a premium rate, and it's going to create longevity in your listing because very few people will be able to compete with you because they're not offering what you guys are offering. If you guys are new to short-term rentals and are really interested in getting started, but are just looking for some help to kind of get the ball rolling, I'll drop a link in the description below. You can book a free consultation call with me and my team, and we'll try and work up a custom game plan for you to get started and get into that first property. If you guys got some value from this video, do me a huge favor. It means so much to me. Just hit that thumbs up button. It just takes 1 second. Just hit a little click ski, all right? Give me a like on this video. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to see more content like this in the future, make sure to subscribe. I will see you guys soon.